Hello, this is OldCrowBalthazor, and welcome to Balthazar Strategic Arcana. So I'm happy to announce that I have a new multiplayer match going with Taxman66. We're playing the newest version of the Total Realism project mod for Strategic Command War in Europe. So this video I'm going to explain and give explanations to some big changes that were done with the base game, Strategic Command War in Europe, and then some fundamental changes that were done with Total Realism project, and then some house rules that Taxman and I had crafted. I'm going to be playing Axis, and he's going to be playing the Allies. So I'm going to go through those. I'm going to go first with the War in Europe changes first. Came with version, I believe, 1.26. Yeah, let's go here. Now, there were other changes dealing with the AI, but I went ahead and took a look at these. Now, some of these are excellent changes, and I think some of them, while they resulted from different members of the community, pertaining not just to War in Europe, but also World at War, and probably Strategic Command World War I. Me and Dudeman, when we played our last match at TRP, we were running into issues we were trying to fix as we were going. Some of it was TRP stuff, and some of it was vanilla stuff. So I'm going to go through this. So one of the big changes is rebasing an air unit lowers its spotting range in half. And rebasing air units can no longer swap with an adjacent unit. That's Elzar. And Dudeman got the patch credits. But a lot of people were talking about this, and we all were doing, especially doing this swapping with an adjacent unit, right? Like fighters or whatever. But this is important with the fighters, because in the old TRP version we played before, and it wasn't TRP necessarily, well, it was, but you could move your aircraft up forward, your fighter, passively spot way out there, and then move out of the range. Now, if you do it, it's half. This is another huge change. It pertains to all the Strategic Command games. Air units in fog, rain, snow, or sandstorm weather will now have their spotting range reduced. Excuse me. 1 hex, and that is Lothos. And now this is great too. So bad weather now, it's meaningful for spotting, and it makes a lot of sense. I mean, particularly snow or sandstorms, but fog and rain too back in World War II. All right. The next one is air units that attack a unit in fog or rain, snow, or sandstorm weather will no longer detrench. Okay, that's a huge change too, and I advocated that, and so a whole bunch of other people. When I played a match against Gaming with the Colonel, and the medium bombers could just detrench, in blizzards, it didn't make any sense at all. Okay. Coastal guns will now fire back at attacking naval units. That's good. That's real good. It's this one here. Defender units that are destroyed before they can retreat will now output a shattered message to better indicate have losses for the attacker. That's Taxman66 got credit, and Archmage got this credit. Okay. Fixed an error when incorrectly reveal silent subs during any type of replay under fog of war if they've not been spotted. And I got credit for that, and we discovered that when I was playing Unfortunate Sin with the real early version of TRP, and I was making videos, right? So I got to go and review it and go, wait, what is this? Unfortunate Son noticed it too, so I made a clip and I posted on the forums, and it took a while, but they went and looked at it, and yeah, there was an error, so that got fixed. That's great. Fixed Special Forces Amphibious Embarkation issued now has Special Forces focus on available ports and adjacent hexes next to ports for any other available embarkation hexes. KJGO KG 207. Pete Dalby. Also, well, we noticed this when I was playing against Game with the Colonel. I felt bad for it. Game with Colonel also was he had posted on the forums is something's got to be fixed, because when the amphibious embarkation, sometimes they would, well, it'd be random. Sometimes it would just end up in the worst place. So apparently, that's going to help that situation. Kherson. I talked to my friend Arcady, and he told me that you pronounce Kherson, like two A's. I always said Kherson for years. Change the river at Kherson to use major river tile hex for the river mouth. Radar 8717. So yeah, when well, Kherson has been on the wrong side of the river for years, until people started looking at maps when the Ukrainians pushed the Russians back in the Russell or Ukrainian war, the one that's still going. So they fixed that. What's this right here? Oh, okay. Increase attack increments. These are big time. Now, I noticed for years, and saw a lot of our people, that when you did amphibious attacks against artillery, rockets, light armor, and especially anti-aircraft units on islands and stuff, it was hard to hit them. So increase attack increments for amphibious warfare research to 1 against artillery, rockets, light armor, tanks, aircraft, anti-aircraft units. And that's Beriand in Chernobyl. Got the credits. I played Beriand in beta. Some hardcore games in the beta of American Civil War. And Chernobyl I've known for years on the forums. So good man. And then here, increase the base combat attack areas for both types of amphibious transports from 0 to 1 against artillery, rockets, light armor, aircraft, anti-aircraft units. And again, Beriand and Chernobyl. So that fixed another major deal too. Because it was easy to go knock down, if you had the right tech, armies and corps, but you couldn't touch anti-aircraft units. I remember that. Even aircraft could hold a beach. So they have fixed that. Okay, so that is a change log that pertains to multiplayer for Strategic Command War in Europe, version 1.26. And they have a version 1.27. It was a fast fix. There was some issues, small issues, but they were major, I think. I don't remember. All right, but that's fine. Yeah, we'll go ahead and save that. Okay, next. Let's go to TRP latest change log. By the way, TRP, Total Realism Project, designed by Dave Martinez, also known as Lothos on the Matrix forum. There'll be a link to his mod. These are his latest changes. Now, a lot of these changes came possibly as a result of the match I had with Dudeman, but then there was plenty of other people too that were asking for some changes. So thank you, Dave. And this is the version of me and Taxman are playing. Me and Taxman tested. I mean, it's a huge deal, man. A time commitment if we're going to do this. So we're hoping that this is going to work out. So TRP 1.3 Europe. There's some bugs here that have been fixed. That's all good. But here, new. Okay, first, major powers except for the UK can no longer attach miners to the HQs. I like that. That means like Romanian units, Hungarian units, other miners like that. They got to stay at their own HQs. It was always difficult. I mean, for one thing, a lot of these minor powers resisted being incorporated in a major power. Their army, their armed forces. They had to do it for their own national prestige, if nothing else. I remember reading about Romania and Hungary in particular. German High Command wanted to start integrating them into German formations, and they refused. Said no. So it makes sense. Poland added some secondary supply sources. And I'll do a side note. We did some tests, and now we're playing a match, and Poland is much tougher. Historically, the Germans did take Poland down pretty quick, but they did suffer some significant casualties, and they had to rebuild their armed forces and repair them before they took on the West. So this is new. Vichy can no longer be manipulated by diplomacy. Okay, that's fine. This is new. Most miners will no longer be able to transport troops. That was probably a result of my play when I was playing Allies against Dudeman. And I was scared of a sea lion, so I was grabbing garrison security units from British Guyana, wherever, right? And French colonial forces, and brought them up. So that's not a thing anymore, and that's fine. Max shells for artillery change to 1. You get +1 when you research artillery tech. So yeah, that's good. And you want artillery tech. Okay. Rocket artillery no longer detrenched. We like this change too. Now there's a difference between rocket artillery and heavy artillery. Heavy artillery is penetrating. Rocket artillery, at least back in World War II, it was shock. So it demoralized. But penetration, no. Maybe these days, yes. But for World War II, so I'm fine with that. I like it. Heavy artillery, I guess it was a self-propelled. Demoralization lowered by 15. I don't remember what the original one, but it seems to be working fine. New heavy artillery, and I guess self-propelled detrenched at a capped at 1. Well, it seems to be working fine for tests. Germany can't build strategic bombers until July 15th, 1940. Now, that's great because nothing against Dudman, but he saw how powerful strategic bombers are. I did too. And we had house rule they can only do one attack, right? Or one mission against a city. 2 against if it was on combat units. But when I get to our house rules, we made some changes. But yeah, Germany now, if they want to get into that, they're going to have to wait. Okay. Romania tactical bomber cap changed from 0 to 1. Okay. Railgun range changed from 3 to 2, and you will get it back to 3 with artillery tech. So, yeah, that's fine. I get that too. Vichy France changed from non-cooperating with anyone to cooperating with supply. Yeah, there was a problem that some people that were testing plane, I can't remember who, but I saw in the forums where they had allied units and Vichy was on their side, and the supply was terrible. So I'm glad that's fixed. And it says cooperating with anyone, so I would assume whether it's the Axis or the Allies. Canada can't build maritime bombers until January 1st, 1941. All right. This is good too, and I think one of the main reasons Dave Martinez did this, the Home Guard will give the garrison units immediately instead of only when Germany invades. Yeah, that was one of the reasons before the decision you would get them if Germany invades, but I argued that it was too late then if they get into a port. And that was my reason why I was bringing in security units. I was paying for it too. Get them from the colonial places like in Africa or whatever to get into ports, at least hold the ports in case he did do a sea lion. So I like it. It's good. This is good for engineers because they're like pioneers. We've always wanted this too. A lot of people have when talking about engineers. Not only should they be building stuff, they should be able to be like sappers or pioneer units. So new engineers when attacking increase detrench from 1 to 2. So now it's even more important to get engineers. Now I have to tell you, it takes a while to build those engineers. When you put it in production queue, it takes a long time. They're very valuable. And now they're even more valuable. So yeah, you can use them in combat, against an entrenched position. That's great. Storm damage on ships has been reworked and does more damage. I know there was discussion about that, but that's what Dave wanted, and we're good with that. Logistic tech change from 10% OP to 5% per level. All right. Diplomacy costs reduced to 0. Now, well, that's fine. We're going to go look at, we'll see where the chits are. Not sure how that's going to work out when the United States gets in, but they get 3 chits. Used to be expensive to do this, so a lot of times there wasn't any Diplo at all, but if there was, well, now there is going to be Diplo. It doesn't cost any money. It is interesting. Diplomacy chits changed to the following. So the UK gets 3, USA 3, France 1, USSR 0, China 0. I guess it pertains to TRP world. Germany 3, Italy 1, Japan 1, Vichy 0. And Vichy is a major power in TRP. Yeah, so once the USA get it 6 to 4, as long as Italy's in. So we'll see how that works out. Okay, now these are some big major changes. I think a lot of them had resulted from the Judman match, and I don't want to give any spoilers other than to say that the Maginot line now is the Maginot line. If you want to break through it, it's going to be a major effort. And I mean, they can entrench up to 6. So Strasbourg has been turned to a fortified town. Added a label to SAR. Okay. France added secondary supply to Strasbourg and Mulhouse. Basically, I think that's to support the Maginot line. Malta and Gibraltar changed from fortified town to major fortress. So now it's going to be a lot tougher to take Malta and Gibraltar. And I like that change, even though I'm playing the Axis. It was way too easy for Malta to fall, and the ramifications are dire for the British. So, but in tests, Malta can be taken. It can be taken. So, but it's going to take a big supreme effort to do it. And yeah, well, I like it a lot. Sevastopol changed from a fortified town to a fortress. That's also great too. I know why he did it too. I think I had built a bunch of fortifications in the Crimea. We'd like to see Sevastopol change to as a national morale objective, but that wasn't done. But that's fine. So yeah, you're going to need big guns to take it down, and a lot of air maybe. We like that. All right, here Tobruk is a secondary supply source for Libya. Yeah, that's a great change. Makes Tobruk super important. It already is, but it's been helpful. I noticed it because I'm playing the Axis. Again, I don't want to give any spoilers, but yeah. Rename Cuxhaven to Brunsbüttel. Okay. I think that's... there was a port named that, and then there was the town. Okay, he added a German port to block Kiel Canal. Well, it does. But if you take that tile, then you could use it. But we have a house rule dealing with Kiel Canal. Even with this fix, we'll get to that in a little bit. Rename port to Hamburg port. Okay, right on. Fortified town defense values now match fortress stats. All right. Fortification max and trench increase from 3 to 4. So that's going to make things tougher, but that's going to make folks that are find these entrenched positions try to go around them if they can, unless they have significant artillery nearby and air power. So envelopments are key. Now here's a change that Lothos did for me. He put an Axis raid point added to South Africa near Cape Town. Yeah, that's a thing in World at War, so glad he did that. Weather, Zone 6. Weather will have a less chance of rain from September to October. Okay. Now, Poland. This is huge. Poland's tougher. Poland increased strength of most units to 10, so they just don't instantly get knocked down. You got to try to envelop them, get them out of supply. And Poland added a general Kurtsiba to the map. That was Jason that advocated a whole bunch of that stuff, and I tested it and it was good. Jason's somebody I played and tested his fabulous Polish-Soviet War of 1920. Hey, Jason, if you watch us, we got to do that again. All right, now let's go to our house rules. Now it's got a historical flavor. Taxman and I had gone back and forth for this, and we wanted to call them down as much as we could. So this is the War in Europe TRP house rules. We revised this in June. Also, if we see something ongoing, we want to have the right to be able to make changes. But right now, we're digging on it. We tested this a bit, and now we're playing with it. So no war deck in the USSR before April 1941, unless the USSR mobilization reaches 90%. Reason for that is because early attack on the USSR, let's say like in February 1941, can trigger the winter effect. It's random, but it could trigger it, and it's not going to hurt hardly any Axis units at all because there's a radius from Kirov. So anyway, or even if you're within the radius, take that now, and then you got all summer, right? So, but now if somebody messes up and the USSR mobilization goes to 90, then the Germans or the Axis, they have every right to try to do a preemptive attack on them. So, you know, if there's something dynamic going on. So we had to leave this in. So it's not a total exclusion or whatever. No Allied ships may ever use Kiel Canal. Allied units may land in block. So talking to a whole bunch of people about the Kiel Canal, we just thought it just wouldn't work. If you landed there, if the Allies landed there, there'd be landing craft over, just would choke it. It's also kind of meanders and it's narrow in places. So even though Lothos did put a port there, the port would be useful if you grab it, but we're not going to allow any ships. I would say transport's okay. You know, I'll have to talk to Taxman about that. But naval vessels, no. Okay, no German attack on the Low Countries in France till April 1940. Germany must attack all Low Countries, Belgium, Netherlands, and Luxembourg at the same time. Now, if somebody wanted to go through the Magic Line and not attack these, that's allowed. But the Magic Line is pretty damn tough. So we also didn't want to see, you know, like just going for Belgium and not take out Luxembourg or Netherlands. We wanted kind of a semi-historical timeline. We do want wiggle room. So there is wiggle room. But if you do go for them, you got to war deck them all at the same time. And it's going to happen after April. Same with France. So there's that. Strategic bombers can only do one mission per turn. We decided to make it simple, period. Because strategic bombers in this mod can get ground attack upgrades, and they are actually pretty devastating if they carpet bomb a unit. So we decided to restrict these for both Allied and the Axis, they're overpowered. Another reason why it's okay in WoW, I say, to do it, because there's only 13 turns in a year. We got 30, so you could wreak havoc, especially with the Allies, but even the Germans. You know, with a couple strategic bombers, an Italian one and a German one on the Russians, their rail lines in the rear, totally ahistorical. It still could be done, but there wasn't a lot of good defense for that. Finnish units may not enter any land hexes south of the Riga-Moscow-Perm line. Finnish units can enter anywhere in Norway and Sweden. Finnish special force unit may go anywhere. So I've asked for this. I never like seeing Finnish units down there, and there was a national policy anyway. There was revanchists and but right wing elements that wanted greater Finland, which would be incorporating parts of northern Russia, Karelia, Kola Peninsula, maybe all the way up to the Urals, where there's Finno-Ugric people that speak that live there still, like the Komi, Samoyeds. So yeah, I've went in deep into this greater Finland deal, and also they were friendly with the West. So and they did get a lot of pressure from neutral United States not to break the Murmansk railroad line. We didn't want to get in too deep about that, but so they're restricted basically on north of Riga, Moscow, and Perm. Okay, this is another one I want its flavor, but it could have some bearing, especially against Yugoslavia or in Barbarossa. When you start Barbarossa, no Hungarian units may enter Romania before Barbarossa if German decision Second Vienna Award grants Hungary the Romanian part of Transylvania. So if you don't do this, then you can go ahead and do what you want. But if you do, Romania's pissed. No Romanian units in Hungary before Barbarossa of German decision Second Vienna Award. I can't remember the decision number, but you could find it. Grants Hungary and Romanian part of Transylvania. Okay. No Allied scandal gambit on Oslo, Norway, or Copenhagen, Denmark, while those two countries are neutral until France falls. Doesn't stop the Allies if they want to land somewhere in Denmark, block Jutland, let's say, so they can attack them. They just, you wouldn't want to do that. Well, you might. Or land in Norway, take Narvik or whatever. But, of course, to do that, you would have to War Dec Norway. So, Special Forces, Marines rule. This is one Taxman wanted. Well, we both wanted, and we had to work this out. So, basically, we didn't like seeing the frog jump in those Special Forces units. Like, they'd land, they'd be in good supply, and they'd just leave. So, the special rule is Special Forces units that reload from a non-port coastal hex supply 5+, or when provided 5+ supply after invasion may not amphib attack, nor may they land on enemy territory, i.e. they have to unload on friendly territory and reload again if they want to invade. So basically you could try to evacuate, but you got to get to friendly territory and then you can reload. That's what we both wanted. So okay, no Diplo on Hungary, Romania, or Bulgaria until Barbarossa started. Well, hopefully, for the Axis, all three of these are on your side. But, yeah, we didn't want to mess with that. We don't know if there was much that could be done, but we just didn't want it. No Allied blocking of Gibraltar travel hexes. Can put ships all around them, but not right on top of them. Right. That's pretty self-explanatory. Don't like... It's a loop box is what it's called. That's a technical term for it. So, yeah, I mean, I would like to be able to see the Axis try maybe to get U-boats like Das Boot through Gibraltar, right? Well, you can't if there's ships on there, so we're going to try to avoid that. Okay. Italian Navy is restricted to the Med until they're at war. Italian transports can go out if they are destined for Abyssinia, Ethiopia, and go straight there while Italy is neutral, no spotting with them. Well, inadvertent spotting is fine, but I mean, like deviating way out past Africa, go out to the North Atlantic to spot for German U-boats. No, none of that, please. And we vote for sports, and we don't. That's why we put this in there. We wouldn't probably do it anyway, but we wanted to put it on paper, right? Okay, Vigo and Canary Island ports leased during may not be bombed unless Spain is an Axis power 100% mobilization. Yeah, because we found a loophole. So in the TRP mod, if you're unaware, there is an exclusion zone around there. So if any Allied ships get within a hex or two of Vigo, like to bring the port down, they're going to take serious damage from Spain. As long as Spain is neutral, right? But there is a loophole, and we close it with this rule. You could bomb the snot out of the port with carriers, right? Or escort carriers. So, well, that's bombing Spain, and there's no repercussions. So we added this rule. This rule was in with my Dudeman match, too. To maintain a historic flavor, USSR has to conduct the Winter War. Can't avoid it. And the Allies can't intervene in the Winter War decision where they could. A lot of times they wouldn't anyway because it really affects this. But we wanted Finland be in the war, and yeah, so we that's just is forbidden. This is one that I wanted. It's in all these front games. You never see Bulgarian units in the USSR. Never. Well, we brought no Bulgarian units in the USSR unless Moscow or Baku is Axis controlled. It's you could go deep into that, but you will never see Bulgarian units in any war game, and there was national policy about that. No Hungarian, Romanian, Bulgarian mainline units in France or Italy. Garrison security units are okay. Yeah, there were small detachments like Croatians, Cossacks, stuff in France, but you never saw Hungarian, Romanian, or Bulgarian units. They were on the East Front or Bulgaria. They're holding down the Balkans, like in Yugoslavia and Greece. So we preclude that. And then we created a Germany-USSR naval exclusion zone while neutral. The reason for this is when during the Doom match, I started it. Me and Doom were like spying on each other and stuff. But we thought that was probably unrealistic. It would provoke one or the other. There's no ramifications of doing that. I do have... Oh, yeah, here's a better... A little easier to see. Yeah, here we go. So this is the explanation here. The Germans, they can move here and they can move all the way up here anytime during... This is while the USSR is neutral. So Finland and all this stuff. This is before Barbarossa. Okay. Soviet vessels got to stay right here in the Gulf of Finland. But once if they make the decision to annex the Baltic states, then they can go out to here and stuff. Now, there's nothing printed on the map, an in-game map. So, if somebody goes off a little bit, but yeah, it shouldn't be any problem. Germans going there. I mean, they had a convoy line going up through Sweden, right? And Finland was pro-Axis, but seeing German ships before the USSR, is neutral, that would have upset the Soviets big time. And seeing Soviet ships here tracking German ships, even though they're not, they weren't allies, but they had a non-aggression pact. No, that just wouldn't have happened. So that's why we created this. So anyway. Well, I think that's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. And I believe we're going to start. The first turn's going to go up on, I believe, August 3rd. Well, I'm pretty certain it is, unless there's something comes up. We've been playing for a while. And yeah, it does feel historical. It's things are a little bit more difficult for the Axis. So it isn't a complete romp stomp. Also, Taxman is an expert player, just like Dudeman, so I'll have my work cut out for me. It's been an enjoyable experience so far, and again, I don't want to give any spoilers, but that's what's going on. So there'll be a link again to this mod if anyone's interested in playing it. We're playing multiplayer. Single player on expert is recommended. I tried it, and it's tough. It's tough, so, and that's recommended by the mod developer, Lothos or Dave Martinez. And there'll be a link. I think I'll put in the description. I think I'll be posting the house rules on every video. I'm not sure yet. Haven't got to that point. I needed to make this though. So anyway, with all that, thanks a lot for watching, and I hope you guys watch this series. It's interesting as hell. I just got to say. And they're going to go up daily. And, well, there is one thing. There's so many turns in this match. If we get too far behind where our turns, because Taxman is going to be doing ARs, and he wants to watch the videos, and I don't blame him. We might do seasonal breaks where if I only have a few turns before the next video goes up, and because we got busy lives, we'll take a seasonal break, kind of like if you're watching Game of Thrones or Breaking Bad, right? Season 1, Season 2. We'd take brief breaks so we can get caught up on turns. Because we want to be far enough advanced for fog of war reasons. So we got about 20 turns ahead of us or so, ahead of when you guys are watching it. So we're taking breaks, and I got other projects too. I got another match maybe I'm going to be doing. I'm pretty sure that's going to happen too. Plus, I got something on YouTube right now with Bite Nibble Chomps, Imperial Sunrise, which is awesome. Is going to basically go down to the wire and who's going to win that one. So anyway, and thanks Fury staff for creating these wonderful games. They're perfect for multiplayer, man. And that's what I've always done, and mostly. And that's how I get my kicks and thrills, man. Definitely my kicks. Anyway, we'll see you guys later. See you on the virtual battlefields. I am gone.